Hey everyone! This week we're going to turn our attention to two parts of STEAM, technology and art. Pixel art is a form of digital art that is created through software on a computer. If you love video games, you'll appreciate pixel art. As technology was limited, developers used pixel art to form some of the first images on early video games, from games like Pong to Super Mario and more. Just like cells in your body make up you, pixels are these tiny blocks of color that make up an image. You may know pixels better from watching videos on YouTube. Did you ever click on the option to change a video from the numbers 480, 720, or 1080? Well, those numbers are actually related to pixels and how clear a picture can be because there's more blocks of color, which means more movement. So to get started today, each of you have been assigned what's called a Google Sheet. Many of your teachers have been assigning you something called Google Docs, where you type in it, or Google Slides that are great for adding images and cool backgrounds to your work. While Google Sheets is really used for numbers, data, and schedules, we're going to use it as our canvas to create some digital artwork like this one. Our first lesson using pixel art is to make a smiley face. So you're going to follow along with me first and see how I go about creating it. And when you're finished watching this video, there is a Google Sheet attached to your post assignment on Google Classroom, set up just like mine, that you're going to be able to work with. Okay, so to get started with our pixel art, I want to explain a few things on Google Sheets that's going to be important for us before we get started. So what a Google Sheet looks like. Normally these little boxes down here are a little wider. But because we are doing pixel art, what I did was I already fixed up your template for you. So everything is already good to go for our pixel art. What we do want is we want more square boxes than these rectangular boxes. So it's already done for you. I want to explain what each of these little boxes are that I'm going through with my arrow key. These are all called cells. Okay? Kind of like the cells in your body. The cells of our picture are what's going to make up the entire picture. So we're going to fill these with color. What's really cool over here is that we're not going to touch these two columns. See where it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 12? We're not touching that side in column A up top, and we're not going to touch column B at all because that's going to be our color code for what number is going to be the color. So how this works is all we have to do is type the number that we want for that specific color. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go over to cells J through K. I'm going to start with J here. And what I'm going to do is I can type 3 and I can move my arrow key over and it's going to make that cell yellow. If I want a cell red, I can type that in, just 1, click enter, and it becomes red. If I want the color black, I type a 10 in and I press my arrow key or enter and I have already made that cell black. So all those colors over there are the colors that we're going to need for when we place a color in. Luckily for us today though, we're just going to be using yellow and black ideally. So all you need to really know are numbers 3 and number 10. What's cool about this is if you make a mistake, there's a really simple way to delete a certain color. So all you need to do is press the Control Z button. And I'm going to have this up on the screen for you as I'm telling you this. So Control Z will just undo everything I just did. Okay, and it will keep undoing everything in case I make a mistake. So to get started, I want 5 yellow boxes up top. And ideally, this is our only workspace, what you can see here. If you want to zoom in a little bit, you can press Control+. And again, I'm going to put those controls on the screen so you can kind of see what this looks like. And my picture kind of gets bigger here. I'm only working really from number 1 through number 13. So watch how I do this. I'm going to type 3 in and press my arrow key to the right. So each time I press 3, it'll just make it yellow for me instead of finding that color and putting it in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have letters J through N colored in, and that should be my 5 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to letter I this time, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to type 3, over, 3, over, 3, over, 3, over, and so on. until I get one more block on each side, kind of like this. What I'm going to do for the next one is I'm going to go one block further. So I'm going to go to H and I'm going to start there. And I want to keep typing 3 in and my arrow key over to the right until I go all the way to letter P this time. So you can see that's one more block over this time. Again, I'm going to do, now I'm going to make this consistent. So I'm going to do 5 blocks of this. So I'm going to do 3 over from letter G all the way over to letter Q. And once I do that, I'm going to do the same thing again. I can type 3 all the way over. I'm going to press 3 and the arrow key until it goes over. And I'm pretty much going to copy and do that a few more times. I'm going to do this 5 times here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to have one more row of the same amount. So I'm going to go 3 over until I reach the end of that row. And I can always adjust it later if it doesn't look exactly the way I want it, but that's ideally what I'm going to do. I'm going to go use my arrow key, and I'm going to come down this time, and I'm going to take it in 1. So I'm kind of copying what I did up above. I'm just working backwards. So I'm going again through, it looks like block H, and I'm going to go all the way over to block P this time. So I'm going to still move over, and I'm going to stop at P. And then I'm going to go down 1, and I'm going to start at the next block in. So that is letter I this time. And I'm going to go 3 over, all the way over until I reach letter, right there, letter O. And I'm going to go down one more time, and I'm going to go to letter J this time. That's where I'm going to start. I'm going to make my way over until I get to letter N. So J to N will be my last one down there. And when I'm done that, you can kind of see that I have this pixelated circle. And it's not going to be exactly, a complete circle, because that's what pixels are. They're just squares. And that's the best we're probably going to get here. So the next part is you want to try to get your position of where your eyes. And this is where I want you to kind of get creative. I'm just going to do a block of 10 here in letter J. I guess it's J3. And I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to go to N since it's in the same block there. And I'm going to do that one there. And you can kind of see how that's even because I have 2 yellow blocks on this side of the black box. And I have 2 yellow on the left side there. And that's kind of like even. What I'm going to do down here is I'm going to try to create a smiley face the best I can. So I'm going to type in the 10 into that box. And it's going to make it a black box instead. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm pushing enter this time since I'm not going over all the time. And what I can do is I'm going to make these 4, I'm going to make those 4 or 5 blocks there. And I can see that I have 3 yellow on the side of the black bar, and I have 3 on the other side. So that's good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up and kind of like make a diagonal, I guess. Let's see. And I'm going to go up and kind of like go on a slant. So that is ideally a smiley face. Now you can do a couple of extra things if you want. If you want to create the kind of the smiley with the tongue sticking out. If you want to do the smiley face with the sunglasses on, you can do that. And I also want to mention, if you have a hard time trying to get the yellow on, what I did for you is down at the bottom of your template, I gave you a smiley face template here. So if you click on that, at the bottom, it's going to give you a blank template to kind of work with. Is it exactly like the one I just made? Probably not, but if you go back to Pixel Art Canvas, it might give you a better idea of what to do on here. So try it out. When you're finished, at the top of your Google Sheet, you can see a turn-in button. I don't because I'm not a student in Google Classroom, but you should see the blue turn-in button when you're done. And I'm excited to see what your pixel art is going to look like this week. Have fun.